Your next lesson in VU, I want to quickly go over it with you guys so you can do it on your own. On the first one is the pencil tool. We've worked in the pencil tool some. So pencil tool is N, or right here. I'm not going to do it all for you, but it's pretty much a free-form drawing. You can draw like that. Make sure you have some type of stroke on there so I can see it. And then you can draw back over it. Not like that, but if you go right on it, it will smooth out on its own. Kind of like so. So play with the pencil tool, and if you let up, you can actually go back to that point and pick it back up. So my hand's not completely steady at doing this, but you can let up. When you get that line, you can pick back up. That's terrible. So make sure you go all the way back around to complete the path. And once you're done, you're going to Command C, Command V, and copy what you just did. Put it over here. And under the smooth tool, you're going to smooth it out. So you got to complete it. I am not completing it to save time on this video, but complete it and make it look nice. Okay, next one. Oh, and fill it with purple, so don't forget to do that. Right here. Fixing open paths. Under the same one, there's a tool called Joiner. And you literally can join together. You can get your direct select, which is A, and you can kind of fix some of that if you want. And then also get your smooth tool to smooth some of that out. Same with the square. Get your joiner tool and join those paths. So it makes it a little easy if you don't have, we need to work on having complete paths so you can fill them in better. So if you don't have complete paths, your fill kind of gets wonky and not how you want. So complete these open paths. The next option is the brush tool, and the brush tool is kind of cool. We're going to work in that. If you get your brush, open your brush library. The brush works the same as freehand. Let me get the basic here. I was playing around with it earlier. Okay, basic, line, and you just, you know, a lot of people have used the brush tool, and you can make complete paths as well, so that way it can be filled in. Oops, go back and select it. So it can be filled in. So, and you see how you have a complete path because you hit your direct select tool, and you can see the path. So your brush tool, a lot of times you can already have a straight line or even a box. That's just a stroke because a brush is just a stroke. And you can add the different types of strokes to it, and actually, you know, bump up the size of the stroke. So that is the brush tool. You're able to, with the brush palettes, add a stroke to it. So in the brush tool library, so you open the brush tool palette, underneath there, you see all these libraries. So play around with this library, pick one that you think you want to play with. This one's decorative. So again, you can have the brush tool and click what you want to use, and then you can literally kind of draw with it, and it will follow that path. Some of it's pretty thick, and you can't get any. You can bump down the stroke, and as you see, it does get smaller if you bump down the stroke. But that's the library, so you can go through that and you see the different types of libraries, or even fancy lines that are already there for you. So that's the brush tool library. You can also make your own brush tool. For the sake of time, all I did was these 3 squares, just because you wanted some sort of pattern going on. So how you would do that was just with the main brush tool open. You see the last couple that I did. I decided just to drag in the teal right here. So all you have to do is drag it in, and you will add a scatter brush, hit OK, and then you can kind of play with these settings. The size is fixed, or you can hit random. Spacing is fixed, the scatter is random, and I always do random rotation so it goes with the line. So then you can go ahead and kind of draw a curvy line if you wish, just so you can see how it works. And make sure it's a stroke and not a fill, and then you click on that you made. So it's pretty thick, so you can keep playing with those settings, or take down that. Now if you did the spaced one like this, you see that it's spaced. If I go ahead and add the spaced one back in there as a scatter brush, and put the sized, it's fixed, spacing fixed, but do the rotation random, so hopefully it flows with it. You can hit OK, and then pick that one. Oops, it doesn't do much different than the other one. So you can kind of play with how that works, but again, you can make your own brush tool. Now to make your own repeating swatch is in your swatches. So the brushes are for like strokes and stuff, but you actually can make your own fill pattern. Again, I'm going to use these 3 dots, or actually I'm going to use this. It's this pattern. You see it's all vector, you see the lines. You go to your swatch pattern and you literally just add it there. There's no settings for it, and then it's whatever you want to have in there, you then make a box and fill it to the stroke, or to the fill, not the stroke. And the cool thing about this is as you make things bigger, it just keeps repeating. So you need to have a good repeat pattern going on, but how big you want it, it will just keep repeating that size. So if you wanted the swatches to be smaller than that, because it's kind of large, you would make the actual swatch small and then add it again, and then it should be a little smaller. It didn't, but there you go. So you can play around with making your own swatch. Another thing, again, if you added these 3 squares to there, and this is great if you wanted like stripes on a page, a different color, and you added that swatch to that, as you see, it fills in, and no matter how tall or big, it repeats perfectly, and you have this nice even lines happening. So that's another benefit of actually having your own repeat pattern by adding it to the swatch. So that's swatches and making your own brushes and working with the brush tool. Moving on to the width tool. You get your width tool, which is this little, almost like a toy duck. However, it says width tool. This is a cool thing because you literally can add points to the width of a stroke and start manipulating it. So you can create some pretty cool things with this option if you want a cool line. So that's the width tool. Something to keep in mind as you play with strokes. I use it a lot to make, it's hard to get like pointed lines. So I use it to make my ends pointed a lot. So it's like thin to thin, thick to thin again. So that's what I use it a lot. And the eraser tool you guys should know how to use, but again, this is a swatch I made that's a repeat pattern in there. You can actually make, those are diverse because you can actually go in and erase it. So holding shift will keep that line straight. You can make 2 boxes, and now it's 2 boxes with that fill, so you actually can erase those. So the eraser tool. We're moving on to scissors and the knife tool. The scissor tool, you click the scissors underneath there. The scissor tool will delete points, so I'll cut it there, and then you'll have to go down here and cut it again. So now it just cuts the path. So as you see, now I have two separate paths. Deselect it. That's one way to cut paths. The other one, so you cut the pink circle into two with the scissors and then color the half a different color so you can see it. So color it something different. And then use the knife tool to slice the blue circles. So go into the same as the knife tool. This one you actually just drag. And it's hard to get a straight line, but if you don't go all the way through and go like that, now you have an issue where you just have one split. So the knife tool will cut it all the way through, but you have to drag it. And then you separate it. So there's a couple other options of cutting. Compound paths allow two separate paths to combine, and wherever they combine, it's cut out. So place the green circle over the yellow circle. You're going to go to Object, Compound Path, and Make. And as you see, wherever it overlapped, it cuts it out. Or you can do it the opposite way and bring the gold circle on top, select them both again, and Object, Compound Path, Make. I did the same thing. So, and then now those paths are combined, and you'll get more into why you use compound paths later. All right, so working on template layers again. Again, just to remind people, new layer, drag it to the bottom. This little circle indicates that the Jurassic Park is selected. You drag it down to the new layer. You're going to double click, click template layer. And then it has a fade on it. We're going to work with color separations. Color separations are used when you are screen printing. So a couple different ways you can do that is you select the color you want to separate. It should be separate. Or ungroup it, which is Command-Shift-G, or get your direct select tool and just select the green. And then you can do Object, Path, or I'm sorry, Select, Same, Fill Color. And then it should just grab that green. You're going to create a new layer. See the green. You see the blue circle, that's what's selected. Drag it up, name it green. And now it's on top of all that, so you need to drag it below. Another way you can do it, if there's no other colors on there, is get your wand tool. Your wand tool should only select the pink, so that's another fast way to do it. So hit another layer, drag it to that layer, name it pink, drag it above the green. And the last one, there might be a lot of black on here, which would be a little bit more difficult to select. But if you lock down the pink and the green like this, the black is the only thing that's left right here, as you see. So you can click and drag the black. And so now we just have the black because we locked the other two colors down. And we're going to create a new layer. Drag the black up, hit black, and then put it below that layer. So now we have a 3-color separation that we could use for screen print, because when we screen print, they'll print that separate, then print that separate, and then print that. So that's a 3-color separation. I will post a video on how to scan. I want everybody to scan in a sketchbook, and then you're going to place it here with a template layer and make a quick outline in sketchbook with the pencil tool. So we're practicing the pencil tool again. We don't have to go too detailed. So once you look out how to scan and you get something scanned in, come back here and you're going to file place, because it's going to be on your USB drive. You should have something that looks like this if you haven't named it yet. It's going to be a PDF, and we're going to place it on here. So it should be scanned in. You can hold shift to make it fit. Now be aware of these lines. This X in this image means it is not an embedded image, which means once you save it, it could go away because you did not embed it. So to embed it, it should automatically pop up here, embed the image. And I have a lot of white space, so I'm going to get a box tool, and we're going to work on clipping paths. We're just going to clip it, or you can crop it. Get your pointer tool, hold shift in the back image and hit Command 7, and now it's cropped out. The extra is cropped out so you don't have to worry about messing with it. And then you're going to create a new image, drag it there, double click, create a template layer, hit OK, and then get your pencil tool, and you're just going to make sure you get a new layer because it won't work on the template layer. And then you're just going to kind of draw the outline or whatever you have time for, just so you can get the feel of using templates and using the pencil tool. So you're going to do that. So next we're going to work on making more of clipping paths. So we're going to clip, I have Marty McFly here. We're going to make a box again over top of it. Just kind of crop them in. Hold shift and hold the back image, hit Command 7. So clipping mask, you can actually edit clipping mask by double clicking inside of them, and you see it's a full image. You could actually make it bigger or whatever, and then double click outside of it, or get your direct select tool, and you can, which is A, and see, you can see the full image box, and you're just going to move it around. And the next thing you can do with clipping mask is type your name in whatever font you want, put it over top of some images. These are vector, but it can be any image. And then you drag and select them all and hit Command 7, and now your words are inside there. You can actually change the font still since it's not outlined if you want. So it makes it, you know, using different types of textures, colors within words possible and still editable. So write your name and use the text that I had. So those are the things we're working on right now in this next lesson. And let me know if you have questions.